In this video, we're going to look at the concept of straight line equation, or straight line graph equation. Now, this equation is very important for your maths exams as long as straight line graphs are concerned. Okay, after going through this video, I guarantee you that you'll be able to understand how to make use of the straight line graph equation, a very important equation. Okay, so ensure you stay to the very end of this video because I will give you guys a practice question at the end of this video. Test your knowledge on how to use this straight line graph equation. Okay, so having known that, let's go into the details of the video. All right, now the straight line graph equation is basically what we have as y equals mx plus c. Okay, now this equation is very important for straight line graph. All right, it is the most straightforward way of dealing with straight line equations. As I've said, very useful. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is to rearrange the equation into a standard format when you are given an equation that is not in a standard format. All right, so the first thing you have to do is to make use of straight line graph equation to rearrange that equation into a standard format. I'm going to show you a couple of examples to show you what I'm trying to explain. All right, so in this straight line graph equation, our y here is our dependent variable. So I don't know if I should write it. So let me just write it. Dependent variable. All right, so it depended on x. Our m is our slope, okay, or gradient. All right, we looked at how to find the gradient of a straight line graph in the previous video. So our x is the independent variable. All right, independent variable. And we have our c is the intercept. So our c is the y-intercept. Now, these are very important parameters in the concepts of a straight line graph. All right, so we are going to see how we can get each and every one of them, right, in the course of this video. Okay, now let me show you a couple of examples. Let's say here we are given y equals 2 plus 3x. All right, now looking at this, you will agree that this equation is not in a standard form if you are applying this straight line graph equation to it. So all you have to do to put it in the standard form for this example is to rearrange the equation. So when you arrange it, just position them well. So y will be, for this one, y will be 3x plus 2. All right, so from this 3x plus 2, our slope here, which is our m, our slope here is what? Our m is what? 3. Okay, our intercept c is what? 2. Okay, so that's basically what it means. Another example, let's say we are given this one, we have x minus y equals 0. Okay, now if we rearrange this equation to put it in standard format for a straight line graph equation, that's y equals ms plus c. For this guy, it will be, when you arrange it, you're going to have y equals, because this y cross over the equality sign, change to positive, and this 0 will cross over, and it will still be 0. Okay, now this one will be y equals x, okay, plus 0. Okay, because 0 is still 0, right? So this we're going to have here, our m will be 1 because the coefficient of x here is what? 1. All right, so our m here is what? 1. That's our slope. Our intercept, y-intercept c will be what? 0. So that's basically what is happening in this example. Okay, now let's look at another example. What if we are giving something like we have 4x minus 3 equals 5y. All right, now in this case, when you arrange the equation into a standard equation for the straight line graph y equals ms plus c, so you're going to have 5y equals 4x minus 3. Now, to make y the solid formula, divide both side by 5. When you divide both side by 5, so our y will be, now you separate, this is an LCM to this numerator value we have here. So this is a LCM of this fraction. Okay, now so you simply separate this 5 by dividing it. So when you separate, you're going to have 4x over 5. all right, minus 3 over 5. Okay, that's basically what we're going to have. We have to separate it when 5 is dividing both sides. Okay, so you have to separate it. So from this now, we can deduce that our m will be 4 over 5, whereas our c will be negative 3 over 5. Okay, so that's basically what's happening there. Now, take note of this. Most times, students usually mix this up. Now, we have something like y equals, let's say we have 5 plus 2x. Okay, now this is not the standard way to write this. Alright, always remember that the slope, is a number in front of x. Alright, and c is a number on its own. Okay, so here now, when you arrange this equation, it will be y equals 2x plus 5. So you see, y-intercept is 5. The slope here is what? Is 2. So it's as simple as that. Now, let's wipe this and look at how to find the equation of a straight line graph using graphical methods. Okay, so let's wipe this. Okay, now let's look at this typical graph. We are given this graph, and we ask to use it to find the equation of a straight line graph. All right, now let's still remember that the equation of a straight line graph is y equals mx plus c. Okay, now from this graph we can deduce that our y1 or y2 rather is 30. All right, so this 30 here, and our y1 is what? 15. All right, whereas our x2 is 30. Right, this 30 that came here, and our x1 will be what? 0. Okay, so remember, for the gradient of a straight line graph or the slope of a straight line graph, m equals change in y over change in x. That's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So when you simplify these, you're going to have 30 minus 15 over, okay, we have 30 minus 0. So when you simplify further, you're going to have, let me write it here, 30 minus 15, you're going to have it to be 15 over 30. So when you divide through, you're going to have half. So we've gotten our m now. So our m is half. All right. Whereas our, now take note guys, our intercept c, okay, is usually where the straight line hits the y-axis. Okay, so that's what our y-intercept is, where the straight line hits the y-axis. So from here, from this straight line, the straight line hit the y-axis at this point of y equals 15. Okay, so this is where the straight line hit the y-axis, hit it at this point. So our intercept, y-intercept will be 15. Okay, so that is basically what the intercept is. So having gotten these parameters or these values, can go ahead and substitute them respectively in this equation. So our equation for a straight line graph using these graphical values will be y equals, our m is half, x, all right, our c is what? Plus 15. All right, so this will be the equation for this straight line graph. So it's as simple as that. Now let's look at how to find the equation of a line through 2 points. Okay, so let's wipe this. Note again before you wipe it that in this graph, the scale of this graph they used 1 cm represent 5 units as the y-axis and at the x-axis respectively. That's why we are having 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 in that order. And the x-axis also having 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so the scale of a graph is very important. So let's go ahead and wipe this. Okay, now let's look at this typical problem. It says find the equation of a straight line that passes through these points. Okay, and give your answer in the form of y equals ms plus c. All right, so let's begin by getting our parameters. Very important. Okay, so to get our parameters here, we're going to have our y2 will be 1. So these are x, these are y, these are x, these are y. Okay, so our y2 is 1 and our y1 will be 9. Okay, so our x2 will be 3 and our x1 will be -2. Okay, so the first bracket is usually for x1 and y1. The second bracket is usually for y2 and x2. Okay, parentheses or brackets. Okay, so now remember the formula for getting the slope of a graph or the gradient of a straight line graph, right, is we're asked to find the equation of a straight line graph. So let's begin by getting the slope. So our m will be changing y by changing x. So it's going to give us 1 minus 9 over, okay, 3 minus 2. Okay, very important sign convention. So when it's simplified, you're going to have -8 over 3 plus 2 is going to give us what? 5. Okay, now take notes and just observe this. In this point we have here, what we have here is -1. All right, so our y2 is -1 here. Okay, so we're going to put -1 here. Okay, so this is going to give us -10 instead of what? -8. We have -10. All right, so take note of that. So when you simplify this one, we're going to have -10 divided by 5. We're going to have it to be -2. All right, so now we are gotten our slope m is equals what? -2. Now next we're going to get will be our intercepts, y-intercept. So remember, this is the equation y equals ms plus c. Okay, now to get our c, we're going to make use of any of the points, either first point, second point, to get our c. Any of them will give us the same value for c. Well, let's use the first point here, that's -2 and 9 respectively. When our y is 9, our x is -2. Okay, so let's plug it here. Going to give us 9 equals our m is -2, all right, times -2. Okay, plus c. So when you simplify, you're going to have 9 equals -2 times -4 plus c. So to make c the solid formula, this 4 equals over, I change to negative. So we're going to have 9 minus 4 equals c. So our c will be what? 5. Or you can also choose to use the second point where our x is 3 and our y is -1. Either way will work, but let's use this one, the second point. So where our y is -1 and our x is 3, it's going to give us -1 equals, so our slope is -2 times 3, okay, plus c. So when you simplify, you're going to have -1 equals -2 times 3 equals -6 plus c. Make c the solid formula. This will cross over, change to plus. So we're going to have -1 plus 6 equals c. So -1 plus 6 will give us plus 5. So our c will still be what? 5. So from these values we have now, we can write the equation for the straight line graph. Well, as write in the form of y equals ms plus c. So the equation for this straight line graph will be y equals, our slope is what? -2 minus 2x plus c, as c is what? 5. Alright, so it's as simple as that. This is what we're going to have. Okay, so that's basically going to find equation of a line through 2 points. Okay, so now let me give you guys a practice question, and after you can call it a class. Let's write this. Okay, so we have this question. It says line Q goes through these points 0 and 5 and 4 and 7 respectively. Find the equation of line Q in the form of y equals ms plus c. So feel free to pause this video and see if you can attempt this. Okay, let's do it together. Now remember, we're making use of this equation y equals ms plus c. Let's begin by getting our slope, and our slope, before we get to our slope, let's get the parameter respective. So in this expression we have here, our y2 will be our 7 and our y1 will be our 5. Our x2 will be our 4 and our x1 will be our 0. So this is usually x1, this is usually y1, alright, this is usually x2, this is usually y2. Okay, so take notes of this, very important. Okay, now let's go ahead and get the slope or gradient. M equals change in y over change in x. that's change in y over change in x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So when you simplify, we're going to have our y2 is what? 7 over our y1 is what? 5 all over our x2 is what? 4 minus 0. So this will give us 2 over 4 right here. When it comes, we're going to have half. So that means our slope m is what? Half. Now to get the intercepts, you can make use of any of the points, substitute for x and y in this equation. Let's make use of the first point here. So when our y is 5, it's going to give us 5 equals to our slope here is m is half times 0 plus c. So half times 0 will give us what? 0. Alright, so we're going to have 5 equals 0 plus c, something like c. Alright, so our y-intercept will be 5, or if you use the other points, the second point, 5 and 7 respectively, so our y there is what? 7. 7 equals our m is half. Alright, now our x is 4 times 4 plus c. Okay, so this will give us y, that's 7 equals, now half times 4, that's 4 over 2 plus c, which is something like 7. 4 over 2 is something as 2 plus c. So this will cross over a positive sign, change negative. So 7 minus 2 equals c. Therefore, our c is what? 5. So either way we work. So from these values we have now, the equation of the line q in the form of y ms equals ms plus c would be y equals our slope is half. Alright, x plus our y-intercept now 5. Alright, so this will be the answer to this question. Okay, so this basically you can deal with problems involving the straight line graph equation y equals ms plus c, and also find the equation of a straight line using a graph, and finally find the equation of a line through 2 points. Alright, equation of a straight line through 2 points. So hope you learned something interesting from this video. Okay, now if you are new to the channel, ensure you check the description of this video below. You see the link to our Telegram channel. Click on it and join the Telegram channel for instant notification. Also, ensure you are subscribed to this channel by hitting the subscribe button. For more videos like this, share, like, and comment on this video. Tell me how you feel, what you learned from this class. If you seem to have any specific questions to ask regarding this problem of finding the equation of a straight line through 2 points, or making use of the straight line equation y equals ms plus c, feel free to leave your question in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to give you a response. Alright, now click on the end screen above, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.